जब भाषण सुना उसके बाद मेरा पहला एक्रोनिम निकाला मैंने, वो था RRR, रिस्पॉन्सिबल, रिफॉर्मिस्ट, और मैंने कहा रिवॉल्यूशनरी। हाउ डिड यू अराइव एट दिस नंबर ऑफ 12 लाख रुपीस?
हमें लगता है टैक्स पेयर उस लेवल नंबर से टैक्स भर रहा है, क्या उनको हम कुछ कर सकते हैं?
प्राइवेट सेक्टर कैपेक्स अभी तक वो इन्वेस्ट क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं, जबकि आपका इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ही बताता है कि वो कैश पाइल पे बैठे हुए हैं।
अगर कंजम्पशन बढ़ता है और उसके तहत लगता है कि ग्रेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट का पॉसिबिलिटी है, वो भी अच्छा ट्रिगर हो सकता है।
AI बहुत तेज़ी से आ रहा है, तो जॉब के चैलेंजेस होंगे, स्किल के चैलेंज पहले से हैं, तो जो ट्रांजिशन पीरियड का स्ट्रगल है, नौकरी मुझे अभी चाहिए।
पूरे साल का एक्सपोजर दिलाने के लिए हम इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम ले आए, और इसके साथ साथ इस बजट में भी ट्रेनिंग फॉर AI इसके लिए सेंटर्स बनाए हैं।
Entire special package and measures are kind of focused on AI skilling and how to sort of facilitate the AI centers which is existing at this point of time.
Now a center of excellence.
Hi, thanks so much for joining in. You're watching Ask Profit on NDTV Profit, and this show gets you answers to all of your stock-related questions. If you have them, you can send them to us either on the WhatsApp number that you see on the top of your screen, or you can call us on the number that you see at the bottom of your screen. That's a landline number, and we've been taking a lot of your calls. We've been glad to speak to all of you. And let's take a look at the markets before we get to some of those questions, though. And you've seen a narrow range for the benchmark Nifty 50. We are trading with gains at this juncture, but one would argue that you would take this, right, in the context where the global setup has not been the best. You had the tech stocks overnight in the US that gave up ground, and you had quite a few Asian markets that were trading in the red. But you have the benchmark Nifty 50 that is trading with gains of about 0.1% before that midweek holiday that we're setting up for. And you have the broader markets that are also looking sanguine at this stage. At least they're not looking terribly negative. They have recovered from the low point of the day and trading more or less flat or unchanged, both for the mid-cap index as well as the small-cap index at this point. And let's also very quickly pull up the market breadth just to see where things stand right now. Early on in the session, you had more losers than gainers. At this juncture, that has changed around, at least for the NSE right now. You have the Nifty 50 that has an equal number of gainers and losers at this point. And so let's see if that continues through the end of the session. Let's talk about individual stocks, and you've seen quite a few from the broader markets that have moved, but not moved very substantially. And in fact, a few of those names, we've talked about Jubilant and Jubilant Pharmova, which is something that I had marked right at the start. If you can pull up that and see where it's currently trading. This is something that was in focus because the company has said that it is going to double its revenue over the course of the next 5 years. And there were a few other names as well. Mahindra & Mahindra from the large cap space, which is bouncing back from the losses that it had and is one of the top gainers, I would think, for the benchmark Nifty 50, up close to 3% and recovering quite a bit of ground. But let's bring our experts on for the day. We've got Astha Jain, who's a senior research analyst at Hem Securities, as well as Swati Hotkar, AVP Technical Research at Nirmal Bang. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining in, and good morning to the both of you. Swati, I'll come to you first very quickly on what you're seeing today ahead of the midweek market holiday. There's seemingly a situation where a lot of people have taken a long weekend because the volume seemed to be a little muted.
Yes, Alex, good morning. First of all of you. Definitely today the market is holding its strength as of now if you're looking from the opening basis. Now on the technical front, 22,470, 22,400 is acting as a very strong support level. So on today intraday basis, we have seen that Nifty somehow managed to respect the support of 22,500 and slowly and steadily it's showing a strength on the higher sides. I believe today's closing will play a very important role. Tomorrow we have a holiday. Upside, at least if Nifty manages to close about 22,570 or 22,600 level, we will see some sort of a relief sign into the Nifty because fresh sell-off positions we are not witnessing at current levels. Upside, this positive momentum can be expected in the coming few trading sessions, which might take a Nifty towards 22,700 to 23,000. As of now, Alex, I can say that rather than concentrating on the Nifty or the bank Nifty trades, try to be stock specific, concentrate on the stock specific trading because there are bitten down counters which are showing a very strong reversals from the oversold zone. So basically in such kind of a market, one should concentrate on the stock specific trading or the investment as such.
You said it, absolutely. And you've seen a few of these names, as you pointed out, recovering. I pointed out Mahindra and Mahindra, but even for the broader markets, you have a few names that are doing particularly well. Let's pull up some of the gainers in trade, and Tata Investment is up and about close to 9% at this point on account of that news from the Tata Group, where Tata Capital's IPO, the update came through. And 23 crore shares, if I remember correctly, 1,500 crore through a rights issue, fresh issue of shares going to take place through an IPO. That's something that you should keep on your radar. Of course, we were talking about Tata Motors benefiting, but Tata Investment also holds about 2.7% in Tata Capital. Tata Motors not likely to benefit to a very large extent, at least on a relative basis, but it has recovered from the low point of the day. Let's go across to the caller that we have. The first caller of the day, Naveen, is calling us from Vizag. Vishakhapatnam, I should say. Naveen, hi, good morning. How can we help you today?
Hi, Alex. Good morning.
Good
After
morning.
a long time.
Yes, it's been a while. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. How are you first?
I'm very well. Please, tell me what your question is.
Okay. So I have HCL Tech Apollo.
Yeah, okay.
Apollo Hospital.
Okay.
Okay, around 4350 price point.
Okay.
So just want to understand the long-term point of view on this. As in more than 4-5 years, I can say.
Okay, and when did you acquire this?
So I was actually averaging it from last 2.5 years, I say. 2.5 years, I can say.
Okay.
So I bought it at 3,500 levels, and recently also I bought two quantity when it was corrected up 4-5% recently sometime.
Okay.
So average price around 4350.
And would you be looking, Naveen, to add more and to bolster your position in Apollo Hospital?
Yeah, it is my core portfolio.
Yeah.
I mean, currently it is weighted is around some 5%, 4%. So it is SIP stock, I can say, like every month I keep on adding few of the stocks.
Okay.
So as the price is currently at 6,000, I can't add every month, but yeah, depends on the thing and
Understood. Understood. All right. So, Asta, first of all, good morning to you. And what's the view on Apollo Hospital? As Naveen is pointing out, it is a portfolio stock and it is a core portfolio stock at that. So, what should he do with it?
Hi, good morning to all of you. See, talking about this counter, I think the kind of result the company has posted, it for a good set of number, first of all. And if I'm looking after their other ratios, then the ratios are also looking good, like, you know, average revenue per occupied bed or average length of stay. So the major thing which I find about this counter is that its valuations which are on a steeper side, and that can be a reason that why we have seen a fall in the stock prices despite posting good set of numbers. So overall, in the longer term, since we are positive on this space, that is the hospital sector as of now. So I think this is one of the best candidate in that sector. And I'm recommending a hold on this counter with the initial price target which we are setting for this counter is somewhere at around 6,800 to 6,900.
All right, let's jump to the WhatsApp questions that we've gotten, and I hope, Naveen, that answers your question. Taikum has got the next question, writing in from Karnataka and asking about Varun Beverages, VBL. 380 shares acquired at a price of 511. The stock is currently trading below that price at 485. In fact, in trade today, it's under a little bit of pressure, down about 3% or so. What are the long-term prospects of this counter, and would you buy for the long term? Asa, on the fundamentals, does it make sense to average your price at this current level?
I think if someone can see more dips, then that are the better opportunity to enter into this counter. Now, talking about the numbers were very strong, especially their international market, because what we have seen that the company has shown the volume expansion in the international market, especially South Africa, if I talk about. So there was a volume expansion. The number was on the positive side. So I think, but the kind of momentum stock prices are showing, I think this stock can, go more downside from here. So better to enter at the lower level rather than making entry into this counter or averaging at the lower level. Right now it is quoting at around 485. So idea is to average at around the 450 or 460 levels. But this counter is looking good to us, hence average at a lower level with a price target of 525 at the initial side.
Okay. All right. I believe we've got our next caller. Kamath is calling us from Bengaluru. Hi, Kamath, and good morning to you. How can we help you today?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very well, sir. Please go ahead.
Sir, I have 2000 Meghmani Organics
Okay.
at the rate of 95.
Okay.
I bought sometime in January first week or so.
Right.
I wanted to have the long-term view.
Okay. And when you say long-term view, Kamath, you're talking about 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. And why did you buy this stock? What is it about the stock that you like?
They are into pesticides, and they are the largest producers of presently nano urea.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that is why I think agriculture will have a prospect.
Okay.
That is,
Okay.
keeping that in mind, I bought it.
Yeah, agrochemical company. It is also in the space of manufacturing pigment products, which is used in the manufacturing of printing ink. But I get your point, and let me, since it's a fundamental question, I'm going to go across to Asta. Asta, Meghmani Organic bought at slightly elevated levels in the context of today's share price, right? It's lost a little bit of ground since that point. Currently trading around 71 or thereabouts. Would you hold on? Would you add more? He's got 2,000 shares.
Okay, so crop protection segment constitutes 74% of the total revenue, while pigment, which you were talking about, Alex, that constitute 26% of the revenue. So I think this time company has shown very strong performance, and that was on the back of the volume expansion as well as the better product mix. Now, in fact, they have signed MOU with Hindustan Insecticides Limited also in crop protection segment, I suppose. So the kind of developments which are going on in the company, along with the kind of results which this company has posted, I think one can remain invested in this counter. It will move upwards later on. So idea here is to stay invested in this counter. Initial price target which can be given to this counter is 88 rupees at current juncture.
88 rupees. It has had a wobbly last 3 months, lost about 27% or thereabouts, and it's not doing too well. But hopefully this answers your question. Let's talk about NTPC Green. And the stock was under pressure yesterday because you had the lock-in of shares open up, and it is still trading below its issue price. And we've got Anusha who's writing in from Warangal, who's bought at levels of 118 rupees. She says she can hold for the next 3 years. I'm wondering if you have, Swati, enough data to talk about the longer term prospects. I know that it's a relatively new listing, but what would you do? Would you add more at the current juncture? Does a base formation look like it's happened?
Alex, we don't have much data because already in the month of November, the stock has been listed. But yesterday, we have seen that the stock has made a new 52-week high, which comes to nearby 96 levels. But as of now, on the technical front, the stock is trading in an oversold zone. So for the shorter term levels, I believe that it might find a new support nearby 95 to 90 levels. Up to that level, we might witness some sort of a selling pressure. Upside reversal can be seen only the stock manages to give the breakout of the previous swing low, which is acting as a today's resistance levels, which comes nearby 105. So any move above 105 levels on the closing basis, then only we can witness some sort of a trend reversal, and which might take a stocks towards 215 to 120 levels. But at the current levels, my view is cautious not to buy the fresh positions at the current market price or not to average it out. Let the stock find out the support levels nearby 90 90 odd levels, then we can see some sort of a reversal. Then only one can take a long position, but not at the current market price.
So that's a technical view. Asta, very quick view on NTPC Green. On the fundamentals, is it an opportunity to buy considering that it's now below its issue price?
Actually, the results which they were posted were not very great set of a number, and their main bottom line was driven by the other income, higher other income. So I think markets are still not very much confident about this counter as of result point of view, and hence we can see more downside from here. So idea here is to make entry, but not at the current level, maybe at the lower level of around 95 or 94 can be a good levels to make entry.
So both on the technical and fundamental basis, hold your horses on NTPC Green is the advice that is being dispensed. Kavita is calling us from Andhra Pradesh. Kavita, very good morning to you. Hope you're well. How can we help you today?
Yeah, actually, I'm holding Tata Motors, 145 shares.
Okay.
At the price of 792.
All right.
Yeah, actually, I'm in loss.
Yeah.
Like I heard some demerger somewhat. So what should I do?
Okay, what specifically are you referring to?
No, whether I should exit or I should wait.
I understand.
Actually, I'm in 18,000 loss.
Understood. And you bought it for the long term, right, Kavita?
Yes.
Okay. Asta, let me go across to you. I'm not sure exactly what she's speaking about in terms of demerger. Is she talking about the selling of stake in Tata Capital, which is the latest update? Is she talking about the Tata Motors CV financing business? Is that what she's talking about? I'm not sure. But would you hold on if you bought at levels of 792?
I think one can remain invested in the counter. Now, I tell you the reasons behind not a very good performance on the stock momentum wise. First of all, the results from the side of JLR was not very convincing. Secondly, they have reduced their guidance from the JLR front. In fact, they have reduced their EBIT guidance also. So I think the results, which were not very great set of a number, can be one of the major reasons that the stock has shown downward momentum. But in the longer term, the kind of FCF flows which we are seeing in their JLR business only, I think that can be a positive for this company. So in the longer term, I'm quite optimistic about this counter, but in the shorter term, some more downside can be seen. So be ready for more downside, but I'm advising to hold this counter for the longer term point of view and no need to book losses at this point of time.
Kavita, my apologies. I've completely forgotten that the announcement came through for the demerger of the commercial vehicles business and the passenger vehicles business. That's going to create two listed companies, and that's what Asta was just referring to. 1st of August is the date when this will come through. But ultimately, the advice is to hold on, and you should also watch out for Jaguar Land Rover on the global stage and see how the retail sales for this company, particularly in markets like China and markets like the United States, how those two data points will pan out over the course of the coming months. That's certainly something that you should monitor. The next question we've got is on ITC. We've got Shankar from Chittoor in Andhra Pradesh, who's bought 52 shares at an average price of 390. I'm reading out what he's saying. He's saying he plans to do an SIP in ITC around 10,000 rupees for the next 12 months, considering 2025 will likely have a lot of corrections. This is his interpretation and his analysis. Is it good to hold the stock for over a decade and good to have a large percentage in one's portfolio? What's the view on ITC? Asta?
So yes, I think ITC is a good counter to hold on for a longer term. So SIP can also be done the whole amount should not be invested at one tranche. My idea here is that 30% you can invest right now, remaining 30% at more lower levels. Now talking about this counter, the cigarette business has done exceptionally well, is what we have seen. And in fact, there is a rural recovery also. We have seen that the demand has shown recovery in the rural area. So on the back of these factors, I think ITC is well placed to show more upside from here. So yes, one can even invest in the tranches and remain invested, those who have this counter in their portfolio for longer term. And our price target for ITC at the current point of time is 450.
But maybe it's good to have that kind of an outlook for 10 years, but maybe don't leave it and forget about it. Keep monitoring it and see how it's doing for you. We've got a caller. Ramesh is calling us from Chennai. Hi, Ramesh. How can we help you today?
Hi, Alex. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Please go ahead.
So, Alex, my query is about Lemon Tree Hotels.
Okay.
I hold ITC Hotel as part of the merger since I hold ITC. So, I just want to invest in Lemon Hotels for long term, like, say, 10 years. So, I just want to know the fundamentals of these companies, like whether it will be a good bet to take for next 10 years to invest Lemon Tree Hotels at the current price.
At the current price,
It's never been down to 120. I'm just tracking this stock for last 8 months. I'm just waiting for it to come down to 120, but it's not coming down. So now it's at the level of 125. So I'm just thinking to invest in this stock for 5,000 rupees a month.
Okay.
So is it good to invest 5,000 rupees a month for next 2 to 3 years and hold the stock for next 10 years?
Okay, let me get both. Asta, I'll come to you in just a bit on Lemon Tree, but Swati, on the charts, he's been looking at that 120 rupee mark, and the stock is actually not declined as much as the rest of the market over the course of the last 3 months, right? It's down only about 2% or so, so it's proven resilient. On the downside, what are the levels to watch out for?
Yeah, Alex, I believe that no wonder we are not witnessing that much of a strong selling pressure on the higher side. But if you look towards on the price momentum, we have already seen a selling from 160 to now towards to 127. Since the client is looking for a 120 levels, I will suggest that below that also levels you can get it up to 115 to 110 levels. Up to that levels fall I'm witnessing into this particular counters. Slowly and steadily it's showing a correction rather than the sharp correction whatever we are expecting. But on the technical front, Alex, the momentum indicators such as RSI showing a negative crossovers from the overbought zone. So as of now, the strength is not there much into the counter. Slowly and steadily, we will witness the downfall towards 215 to 112 level. So at that level, you can take a long positions, but not at the current market price. Short-term target for this particular stocks will be a 140, and beyond that level, 160 against can be tested. So just wait for time being. You can take the fresh long position or averaged out any momentum towards 250 levels.
That's a technical view. Resilience in the hospitality space is something we've been speaking about, Asta, where there is demand for hotels, right? And what would you say about the strategy that this company has employed, which is that it's moved over the course of the last year or so from owning its own property to have a franchisee model, and that seems to have been positive for its operational performance as well.
Yes, and now they have a plan. They have an aggressive expansion plan to reach 13,500 rooms until FY27. So that is owned plus managed I'm talking about, not purely owned rooms. So one of that is a major factor which is quite strong for this counter. Secondly, average room rate is expected to rise at a CAGR of again 5% till FY27 if I talk about. So here my horizon is a very long term, that is more than a year or so, and that is why we are positive on this counter, because what we believe that over a period of 2 to 3 years, the company will grow at a CAGR of more than 10%, anywhere between 12% to 15%, whether it is a top line, EBITDA or bottom line. So on the basis of all these assumptions, we are optimistic on this counter. And yes, industry tailwind is also there. So I think one can invest in this counter. And again, a SIP can be done, but initial price target which I'm giving to this counter at this moment of a time is at around 145.
Okay, interesting. And you're expecting 12 to 15% compounded growth in earnings over the coming years. It's the same space that we're talking about, and hope, Ramesh, that answers your question. But then this is an add-on to that. And this, by the way, is a question from Shrikant, who is writing from Bengaluru. And he's currently holding a stock that has underperformed. Ease My Trip. He's got 870. Let's pull that up, and it's currently trading at 12.5 rupees. He's bought at levels of 15.2 rupees, and this is a stock that has seen a dramatic downtick because you had promoter selling, you had several other issues that came through. He's looking at switching this or he's looking at whether or not to hold this or switch it, Asta, to something like an Indian Hotels, and it's all in the same space. One is travel related and one is hospitality related. So would you switch to that?
So it is again one of the leading online, tech travel platform, and the kind of numbers this company has posted, we are not very much, happy with those numbers. So, but I think if he switched to that, definitely he has to incur some sort of loss. So partially switching can be advisable rather than switching the whole quantity at this point of a time. And yes, Indian Hotel is a very good choice at this point of a time. So we are recommending that yes, one can switch from East Trip to Indian Hotel, but partially, not fully at this point.
Okay, all right, partial switch is the recommendation. We have to slip into a very quick break. I understand Murli's called us. Murli, do stay with us, and there are a lot of more queries that we'll take on the other side of this break. Do stay tuned.
Very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Profit Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
A life which is both taking care of your material needs and taking care of your altruistic needs. That will be the true definition of Viksit Bharat.
In my view, we are already out of that slowdown.
For every anlom, you have to have vilom. You can't just keep doing up and up in the breathing also. You have to come down. So the correction and healthy correction is a very, very integral part of the market.
The private capital expenditure, from where I sit, I see that private capital expenditure is happening.
Any tariff coming on Indian goods will be passed on to American consumers and Indian companies will not be affected.
We feel fairly good about the fact that we can compete with various folks.
Actually, instead of Viksit Bharat, we should call it Re-Viksit Bharat.
भाषण सुना उसके बाद मेरा पहला एक्रोनिम निकाला मैंने, वो था RRR, रिस्पॉन्सिबल, रिफॉर्मिस्ट, और मैंने कहा रिवॉल्यूशनरी। हाउ डिड यू अराइव एट दिस नंबर ऑफ 12 लाख रुपीस?
हमें लगता है टैक्स पेयर उस लेवल नंबर से टैक्स भर रहा है, क्या उनको हम कुछ कर सकते हैं?
प्राइवेट सेक्टर कैपेक्स अभी तक वो इन्वेस्ट क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं, जबकि आपका इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ही बताता है कि वो कैश पाइल पे बैठे हुए हैं।
अगर कंजम्पशन बढ़ता है और उसके तहत लगता है कि ग्रेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट का पॉसिबिलिटी है, वो भी अच्छा ट्रिगर हो सकता है।
एआई बहुत तेज़ी से आ रहा है, तो जॉब के चैलेंजेस होंगे, स्किल के चैलेंज पहले से हैं, तो जो ट्रांजिशन पीरियड का स्ट्रगल है, नौकरी मुझे अभी चाहिए।
पूरे साल का एक्सपोजर दिलाने के लिए हम इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम ले आए, और इसके साथ साथ इस बजट में भी ट्रेनिंग फॉर एआई, इसके लिए सेंटर्स बनाए हैं।
Tax regime for individual. In fact, there has been discussion on how to sort of reduce the tax rate.
I am now happy to announce that there will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research. shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit. Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit, and we've got Murli calling us. And Murli, hi. Thanks so much for calling us. You're calling us from Bengaluru. How can we help you today?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for taking my query.
Our pleasure. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I have bought Ace Construction, Action Construction Equipment, 200 shares at 1400.
Right. When did you buy this,
And
sir?
it's 52. It was bought in 9th January.
9th of January.
I bought with the 2 quarters in mind because the maximum price, highest price of 1695.
Yes.
And the company is doing consistently well with the construction boom.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it is around 1165, incurring a loss of close to 50,000.
Yes.
I am willing to offer 2 quarters. In the meantime, market has corrected.
Uh-huh.
And what is the option for me? This is to a fundamental analyst. The query is to a fundamental analyst.
Yes.
Whether I can hold or switch.
Okay.
If I switch, which is a better option?
Okay, just a quick follow-up to that. Why only 2 quarters if you are buying on the fundamental basis, sir?
Yeah, this I am holding it for, I am observing it for quite some time.
Uh-huh.
And considering the 52-week, the performance consistently it is showing.
Hmm.
See, there may be better options available. Once you make about 10-12% return for a period of 3 months, you may get a better option elsewhere,
Right.
where there are many options available.
Yes. Okay, so
I'm a short-term trader.
Okay.
Long-term trade, I didn't think about it.
Okay, understood. All right, but you want a fundamental view. Okay. Asta, let me go across to you then. And as Muli's pointed out, it has dropped quite considerably from the high point, which is over 1600 levels. I remember, if I remember correctly, this is a company that has just gotten an order from the Defense Ministry, and a quite large one at that. So that order book looks reasonably good. The question mark is the capital expansion or expenditure that we're witnessing that maybe has not flown into the numbers for some of these construction companies. Maybe that will be witnessed in the fourth quarter. Do you anticipate that, and would you hold on for a couple of quarters?
This company, being the market leader in mobile and tower cranes, it holds 63% of market share. So major positive about this company. Secondly, we all know in the budget also the government has a strong spending plans. So that will again be a positive for this company. And thirdly, in their financial performance of Q3 of FY25, they have posted highest ever numbers, whether it is on the top line front, bottom line, or operating profit. So I think financial performance is very strong. Industry tailwind is there. They are receiving the orders. But the only problem which I feel is about the valuation, because they are running at a higher valuation of around price to earning multiple of 36, where the industry is running at a price to earning multiple of only 30. So I think that is the major gap between the valuations, and that can be one of the reasons that why we are seeing the stock prices going downwards. But I think in the longer term, their order book is good. The financial performance is on the right side. Just for the valuation concerns, maybe some more downside can be seen. But in the longer term, this stock will perform. So I think one can remain invested in this counter. Initial price target can be set at around 1250 odd levels.
1250, all right, which is still below Murli's buy price. Murli, so therefore you're going to have a little bit of patience. Is there a better option available, Asa? And quick answer to this.
I think in this space, Action Construction Equipment has shown good performance on the financial front. So I think that is a good counter to stick on.
It's a good counter to hold on to. All right, Vodafone Idea is the next counter we're talking about. And Swati, this one's for you because Hegde from Bengaluru has bought at levels of 11 rupees and acquired quite a considerable chunk of shares, 1,000 shares. And so he's incurring a loss. The stock is trading up about 1%, but still at 8 rupees. It's now a penny stock. On the technicals, what are the key levels to watch and what is the advice that you would give specifically on Vodafone Idea?
The technical view, Alex, at the current level, it's definitely been cautious. We have seen that the stock has managed to maintain a very strong support of 6 rupees and thereafter it has went up to the 10 levels. Now 10 is acting very crucial resistance level. So the view will remain cautious as long as this particular stock trades below the 10 levels. But at the current market price, the immediate support is placed at around 6.5 rupees. So as long as it sustains about at levels, it's definitely we can expect some sort of a bounce back rally. But for the longer term duration, definitely one should hold on this particular counter because it will not be a mean to book the losses at the current market price because the stock is trading at a very bottom levels. We might witness some sort of a reversal over a period of time. Slowly and steadily this stock will perform, but on the upside the strong resistance is placed at 10 rupees. Any move above that level we expect a trend reversal for a longer term horizon, which might take a counter towards to back to the 14 levels. So for the longer term horizon, keep a patience. Definitely this stock will show the performance in the coming 6 to 1 years as such.
Okay. Swati, I'm coming back to you on Titagarh Rail, and we've got Chandan from Bengaluru who's bought at very elevated levels, 1682, and I think a lot of people did do this because of the kind of bullishness that there was in the space, and the stock is down about 45% over the course of the last 6 months, and he's captured most of that downside. He has been averaging, he says, on the way down, but his average price is now down to only 1682. He's currently holding 417 shares. What should his strategy be now?
Yeah, Alex, we have witnessed that this kind of a sector is only show the performance during the budget period as such. On the technical front, this month we have also seen a down almost 20 to 25%. The stock has shown the losses in this month. On the technical front, as of now, I believe that the more downfall can be witnessed into this particular counter, which might take a stocks towards to 714 to 720 levels. Up to that level, we might witness some sort of a depth, and there onwards we can witness reversals from the oversold zone. At the current momentum, my monthly as well as weekly and the quarterly chart also doesn't show any kind of a reversal. So short-term period, there will be definitely pain into this particular stock, but on the longer term horizon, we might witness some sort of a reversals once the stock manages to take a strong support nearby 720. Upside, I'm looking for a target of 840 and beyond that level, thousands levels can be seen. So no need to panic. Let the stock settle down at the support levels. And there onwards, we can definitely going to witness some sort of a positive momentum, which might take a counter towards to 840 to 1000 levels in the near term.
1000 levels, okay. So, but you're going to have a little bit of patience and you're already incurring a loss. So, bear that in mind. We've got Santosh calling us from Mumbai. Hi Santosh, thanks so much for calling us. How can we help you today?
Yeah, Alex, hi.
Good morning.
I wanted to check on HCC. I have bought it at 33 level. I have about 1500 shares.
Okay.
It has fallen almost, what, about 10 rupees or more or less. I was expecting it to actually rise by 10 rupees, but it didn't.
Yeah, that's the texture of the market. But what's the thesis? Did you buy it for the short term or did you buy it based on the fundamentals?
Short term, actually.
Short term. And what's the time frame that you had in mind?
About 3 months.
Okay. So from this juncture, you're wondering whether to sell and book your losses and move to something else perhaps, or hold on with the prospects of, you bought it at 33, you were looking at 43, and so you're looking for a revised target. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. So Swati, on the charts, recovery to 33, at what point is that anticipated, or further downside possible?
Yeah, as of now, the client is not facing a major losses, and whatever the rally LX we have seen from the year 2022, the stock has given a rally from almost 12 rupees to 54. Now, whatever the retracement, if we check on the technical front, the stock has corrected 61.8%, which is the golden ratio we consider into the Fibonacci retracement. So I believe that whatever the rally has been retraced up to 61.8%, as of now, we have seen the price correction, but in the coming few trading session, we might witness some sort of a time correction. Now, the stock will go into the consolidation phase within the range of a 30 to 23 rupees. Up to that level, within that range, it will try to consolidate, and thereafter we will witness some breakouts on the higher side. But definitely, you are like going to earn a good amount of money in this particular counter, because we are looking for a target of 40 to 45 levels. So one should hold this particular counter not to book the losses. So stay invested in this particular stock.
Just a clarification, Swati, the target that you're looking at is in what time frame?
See, at least 6 months to 1 year, definitely 42 levels can be tested on the high side.
Okay, all right. Hopefully that answers your question, Santosh. All right, we've got the next question on Tata Technologies. Uma Shankar is asking this question. She's bought at levels of 918 and quite a considerable loss being incurred in this particular counter. The stock is currently trading at 730, 75,000 or thereabouts is the loss currently. On the fundamentals, what should you do? Asta, I know that you track this company closely, and if I remember correctly, you do have a positive coverage on this. But if you're incurring a significant loss, what should your approach be?
Yes, we did cover this counter when the IPO came, and in fact, we recommended subscribe also, and that call goes well. But now I think the kind of performance which we were expecting from this counter has not been delivered on the expected lines. Plus, valuation is also a major concern. So, looking after these both points, I think this counter is not showing any sort of positive momentum, and we are still not very much optimistic at this point of a time. So, idea here is to remain invested, but you have to be prepared for more downside from here, which I think the stock can witness till the level of 700 to 680.
Then let me ask you this. It has an interesting play, right? It is in the design space and it caters to the Tata group as well. So a lot of the prospects looked good at the start, and I take your point, but is there a better play here? If you are incurring this kind of a loss, are there better prospects in the same space? And I know IT as a whole is, and it's not necessarily like-to-like comparison, but IT as a whole has gotten beaten down. So perhaps any opportunities there? Would you switch out?
So I think that companies itself is seeing opportunities in the digital engineering space, but the problem is it has not been reflected into the financials. Now, if I see their gross margins, there was a dip in the gross margins. Similarly, if I talk about their constant revenue, currency growth, it was merely 1% or 1.6%. So that is the major concern for this company, and I think that is the concern for the IT industry as a whole as of now. So I would really like to see how the Q4 will pan out for these IT majors. But still, if we want to pick any other counter in this same space, then Persistent System and Tech Mahindra are looking better to us. But again, not at these juncture. Maybe the lower levels are attractive for these counters to make an entry.
Yeah, so this is the kind of market that is going to test you, is what my interpretation is from what Asta is saying. Your thesis is definitely going to be tested. And so patience perhaps is something that you can take. Purnafai is calling. I hope that I've gotten your name right, from Vijayawada. Purnafai, is that your name?
Alex.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Myself, Purnafai, I am from Vijayawada, sir. I am holding currently ITC Hotels at 171 rupees.
Okay.
Of 383 shares, sir.
Okay.
I would like to hold for long term, 3 to 5 years I can hold. I would like to know the fundamentals and technical.
Both you want. So technical will be a little difficult to get you because it's just recently demerged and listed. So let me get your fundamental view on this one. Asta, ITC Hotels, we've spoken about the rest of the hotel companies, not all of them, but we've talked about Lemon Tree, we've talked about Indian Hotels. Let's complete the loop and talk about ITC Hotels as well. Bought at 171 and so therefore not too far away from the current market price. Would you add more? Would you hold?
Yes, I would recommend to hold this counter. Now, in fact, if I talk about the fundamentals also in the latest press release in which they have declared the results were, not very much something which one can make a detailed analysis on. The numbers were very small. So I think this whole process of demerger and etc. will take some time to get settled into. And that is why at the current point of a time, because industry tailwind is there, the company is good. I mean, promoters are very strong, are from the strong pedigree. So I don't believe any of the negative factors for this counter. Remain invested in this counter. The only problem is that we are not getting so much of data to analyze into as of now. But again, idea here is to stay invested in this counter and wait till the Q4 FY25 results come.
Okay, all right. I just want to point out, we're getting a lot of long-term questions, and that only indicates to me that my viewers are really focused on the long-term horizon. They're not really worried about the near-term concerns, and that I'm certainly taking a lot of heart from that. Shekhar is calling us from Maharashtra. Hi, Shekhar. Thanks so much for calling. How can we help you today?
Yes. Hi. Good morning, sir. Good morning to everyone. I'm holding HCL Tech at the price of 1805.
Okay.
And it's a 55 quantity. Okay. I'm looking for the long term. So my question is that the right time to get it average?
To average it. Okay. So let me go across to Swati to answer your question. Swati, HCL Tech, along with the rest of the IT pack, has had a torrid time over the last few sessions. It's gotten beaten down in trade yesterday as well. Would you average, would you buy at the current level?
Yes, definitely. Whatever the levels we are currently witnessing has been tested in last year in the month of the July and August. The 1630, is the crucial support for this particular counter. So if you're really interested to take a average it out at the current market price, I will suggest 20-30% can be bought at the current market price. Why? Because the counter is trading nearby its oversold zone. So the depth is very much little from the current market price. Maximum it can go up to 1600 to 1580 levels. That is a very strong support level for this particular counter. Upside, the positive momentum can be again witnessed up to the 1750, then 1820 levels I am looking forward. So if you don't want to miss out the rally on the higher side, at least 20-30% can be bought at the CME.
Okay, a flurry of fundamental questions. Let's take some of them quickly. Asta, and we've got Reshma Bhatia who's writing in asking for State Bank of India, which she's bought at a very attractive price actually. Let's pull up the chart. 403 is her buy price. And the stock is currently trading above 700. So she's clearly been holding for some time. She's wondering whether to sell 100 shares out of the 500 that she holds and buy Titan with that amount. What's the fundamental view here? What are the prospects in your opinion, Asta?
So I would suggest partial profit booking can be done only partially, which the viewer is also interested into. So yes, one can go with that because she's making a good amount of money, and that is why I'm recommending. Otherwise, I'm very much positive on the long-term prospects of this bank. Now, talking about this bank, first of all, net interest margins, they have moderated in the Q3 of FY25, which we have seen in the numbers. So that was the major reason that, the financial performance, it was totally a mixed set of bag, and we have seen the profitability because of the reversal of provisions. So I think going ahead, we are expecting margins to improve again. So in the longer term, the prospects are looking strong. Maybe in the shorter term, some more downside can be witnessed because of the market condition. So yes, one can book partial profit at this juncture and remain invested in the partial quantity with a price target of around 800 to 820 odd levels.
All right. So हमारा अगला कॉलर वेंकटेश बेंगलुरु से जुड़ रहे हैं हमारे साथ. वेंकटेश, नमस्कार. आपका सवाल?
Namaskar, sir. Actually, I have bought Paisalo at 61 rupees 2000 shares.
हाँ.
So अभी फिलहाल वो 38 में है. तो इसके रिगार्डिंग होल्ड या मैं और ऐड कर सकता हूँ उसके रिगार्डिंग में कॉल.
और आपका टाइम फ्रेम क्या है?
लगभग 2 साल और 5 साल का है.
Okay, 2 से 5 साल. Asta, so he's got a relatively long-term holding period. He's bought at elevated levels, 61 rupees. What's the idea here? First of all, do you have fundamental coverage on Paisalo Digital?
Yes, I am trying to figure out, because what I remember from my past study that this counter, I mean, there was a promoter's pledging of the share was that, and that was around 21%. So I don't like such type of a company where the promoters themselves pledge their shares. So that can act as a negative for the stock price momentum. So that was the first update which I want to make about this counter. And secondly, I think the results were also not very strong side of a number. It was merely 10% growth which they have posted in their bottom line of Q3 of FY25. So this counter, because I always look after those companies where the promoters pledging is almost nil or a very minuscule. But here more than 20% is pledged. So that is not a factor which I'm very much comfortable with. My idea here is try to get out from this counter at the higher prices. This is what I can suggest as of now.
All right, I got it. So, and hopefully that answers your question as well. IOCL is a counter that we're talking about next. And Swati, I'm coming to you on this one. And we've got a number of viewers who are asking about this, but specific question from Sanjoy. He has already purchased 300 shares at a price of 134.38 rupees per share. And he's looking to hold for the long term, but he's looking whether to add more at this level or just to hold, or in fact to sell. What should he do?
Alex, I will not suggest to sell at the current market price, because the stock is literally trading near the oversold zone, and we are on the verge of witnessing some sort of a positive divergence from that area. I believe that whatever the on the technical front, we are on the verge of witnessing the trend line breakout as well. But slowly and steadily, it will go on a higher side. At the current market price, at least you can try to hold your long positions. I'm looking for a target of 135 to 140 levels in the near term, which is a very short-term target within a span of 3 to 6 months. Beyond that level, 150 levels can be tested. Not to book your losses, slowly and steadily, this counter will catch the momentum. So stay invested in the stock.
All right, and fundamental basis also, a lot of people are saying that the worst might just be over for oil marketing companies. We've got the next caller from Hyderabad. Suresh is calling us. Hi Suresh, morning. How can we help you today?
Hi, this is Suresh.
Hi,
I want to know about BEML.
Okay.
BEML share.
Got it.
I bought it 3,850 shares. I can hold it for more than 1 year.
Okay, so to 3,800, very elevated levels. When did you buy this, Suresh?
Just a month back.
Okay. Okay, let's pull up the 1 month chart and see where it's gone since then. So, yeah, it has lost quite a considerable amount of value. You can hold for 1 year. What was the thesis when you bought it, Suresh?
50 shares.
I got it. But what were you thinking when you bought it? Why did you buy it? What was the reason?
It's a railway theme, right? So I thought, like, just before the budget, I bought it as in budget there might be some allocations to the railways and other defense sectors. So I bought some kind of defense and this railway theme stocks.
Okay, Swati, on the charts, since we got a 1 year time frame and he's bought at elevated levels, he's lost about 27-30% value in that time frame. What are the prospects on the upside?
Yeah, as of now, the view is negative in this particular chart. So on the monthly chart, this month we have seen a very sharp correction, almost 31% correction. And I believe that this correction is likely to be continued, and which might take a counter towards to 2,200 to 2,400. That will be the levels where it might find out the supports. Not to average it out at the current level, let the stock settle down at the lower level and show some sort of a reversal. At that point of time, you can again take a review on this particular stock. A short pullback rally can be witnessed, but that will be a short-lived, but which might take a counter towards to 2,800 to 3,000 levels. But on a larger degree, I believe that the selling pressure is likely to be witnessed on every rise or on the every resistance levels. So stay invested, but fresh long positions can be added. So to average it out, it will be on a depth toward to 2,400 to 2,200, not at the current market price.
Okay. All right. Let's keep the next few questions, answers rather a little sharp. We've got Angel Broking, which is a question from Ram Kumar, who's bought at levels of 2,450. He wants to hold for 5 years. Should he continue to hold? Should he add more? Asta, on the fundamentals?
continue to hold more, but not add more at this point of the time.
Okay, and that's because the prospects are good, but the valuations are still stretched. Is that right?
Yes, definitely. And markets are also not in a very good shape, the industry which this company is operating into.
Okay. All right. That was a precursor to the rapid fire round. Both of you know exactly what this means, but I will reiterate for the benefits of our viewers. We try and take as many questions over the course of the next 2 minutes as possible. Request you to keep your answers short, ladies. Motilal Oswal, 869 is the buy price. Harsha wants to know whether to hold for the long term or sell at a loss. Asta?
Hold for the longer term with a price target of around 640.
Okay. Sera Sanitary, would you buy at the current level? Bhupendra wants to know. Swati?
Not at the current market price. If you are getting any dips to 5300, one can think about it.
Gul wants to know about Antony Waste Handling. Asta, any view on this? Would you buy fresh entry?
No, not at present point of time.
Okay. EIH, okay, the one hotel company we didn't talk about. Would you buy into this? If you are holding, would you hold? Shrikant wants to know. Asta.
So buy at the level of around 300 is recommended.
Okay. Interglobe Aviation has been on a tear. Would you buy the current level for the short to medium term is a question from Krishnan. Swati?
Yes, 20-30% can be accumulated at the current market price.
Okay. Whirlpool of India is the name of the counter, bought at levels of 1,200, and Harish wants to know whether to hold, especially considering the promoter's intention to sell. Asta?
So, as well as the profitability was also not very strong. So idea here is to hold, but try to get out from the stock at the higher level.
Okay, Anil wants to know about Skipper, which he's bought at levels of 463 rupees. He wants to add more, and he wants to decide whether to sell. What would you do, Swati? Time frame is 6 months.
You can hold the position if you're interested to add on at the levels towards to 380 to 360 levels.
Okay, Lalita wants to know about Wockhardt Pharma, bought at levels of 1,564. The stock is falling. Should you average or exit completely? Asta, on the fundamentals?
Not exit completely, but averaging can be done at the lower level of around 1180, 1170.
1100, all right. So wait for downside before you decide to sign the check. All right, that brings us to the end of this rapid fire segment and indeed on this show as well. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today and for all the answers that you gave our viewers. Pleasure having you on the program. All right, that brings us to the end of Ask Profit. I know that we've not been able to answer all of your questions, but hopefully the stocks that we discussed today will still benefit you. We will be back tomorrow, not tomorrow, actually, day after tomorrow, to take more of your questions. And I'll see you then. But in the meanwhile, do stay tuned. Lots more coming up on NDTV Profit.
Very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Profit Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat.
A life which is both taking care of your material needs and taking care of your altruistic needs. That will be the true definition of Viksit Bharat.
In my view, we are already out of that slowdown.
For every unloam, you have to have vilom. You can't just keep doing up and up in the breading also. You have to come down. So the correction and healthy correction is a very, very integral part of the market.
The private capital expenditure, from where I sit, I see that private capital expenditure is happening.
Any tariff coming on Indian goods will be passed on to American consumers and Indian companies will not be affected.
We feel fairly good about the fact that we can compete with various folks.
Actually, instead of Viksit Bharat, we should call it Re-Viksit Bharat.
बजट भाषण सुना उसके बाद मेरा पहला एक्रोनिम निकाला मैंने, वो था RRR, रिस्पॉन्सिबल, रिफॉर्मिस्ट, और मैंने कहा रिवॉल्यूशनरी। हाउ डिड यू अराइव एट दिस नंबर ऑफ 12 लाख रुपीस?
हमें लगता है टैक्स पेयर उस लेवल नंबर से टैक्स भर रहा है, क्या उनको हम कुछ कर सकते हैं?
प्राइवेट सेक्टर कैपेक्स अभी तक वो इन्वेस्ट क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं, जबकि आपका इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ही बताता है कि वो कैश पाइल पे बैठे हुए हैं।
अगर कंजम्पशन बढ़ता है और उसके तहत लगता है कि ग्रेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट का पॉसिबिलिटी है, वो भी अच्छा ट्रिगर हो सकता है।
AI बहुत तेज़ी से आ रहा है, तो जॉब के चैलेंजेस होंगे, स्किल के चैलेंज पहले से हैं, तो जो ट्रांजिशन पीरियड का स्ट्रगल है, नौकरी मुझे अभी चाहिए।
पूरे साल का एक्सपोजर दिलाने के लिए हम इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम ले आए और इसके साथ साथ इस बजट में भी ट्रेनिंग फॉर AI इसके लिए सेंटर्स बनाए हैं।
Tax regime for individual. In fact, there has been discussion on how to sort of reduce the tax rate.
I am now happy to announce that there will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims?
Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. You're watching Know Your Company, a show designed to give you regular investors powerful, actionable insights into the fundamentals of a single NSE listed company every day. On our radar today is Bazaar Style Retail. If you pull up the stock as well, it's very interesting to see what's happened because it's a recent listing. In fact, I think one of the days that was on the 20th of February itself, the stock had seen a major rally that had come in as well on this counter. Now, with regards to Bazaar Style Retail, value fashion brand which was established in 2013. The company is based out of Kolkata and clearly they are market leaders in that particular region. So if you talk about West Bengal and Orissa, that's where their hold is. Their key focus areas are tier 2 and tier 3 regions, and that's where they're aiming to enhance their presence as well. What do they offer? It's mainly apparels and general merchandise. And the options range from men's fashion and women's athleisure wear as well. They also have a general merchandise segment. So that's with regards to where Bazaar Style Retail goes. A pretty, if you have to compare it to other players, a small regional player, but the key is going to be with regards to where expansion, etc. go.